to get up with Kawhi, who did something only Michael Jordan ever had before in one of the great finishes you will ever see. We're getting there in 1 minute. Plus, I'm not lying, team's going to be crying after tomorrow night because they're vying for Zion. But is the really lucky team the one that doesn't get him? We'll discuss. And the Lakers have a new coach. The hiring process was a public relations catastrophe. Where does it go from here? We've got answers. It's time to get up, starting right now. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to New York on this Monday morning. Oh, and look how good this looks. I feel so very much at home as the bow tie has returned. Bruce Bowen, good to see you again, my friend.
Good seeing you.
He's ready to go, and Coach Tibbs is fired up and ready to go as we had two remarkable Game 7s yesterday, both of which went down to the final seconds. We will start with the second, the game of the night. Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors at home, trying to take care of Joel Embiid and the Sixers. Winner take all. Going to pick it up in the fourth quarter. Raptors are down 1, and it's Leonard kicking. Kyle Lowry, no good. But they had the big lineup on the floor. And so they get another opportunity. They work it around, and eventually it is Kawhi, bang, knocks it down Toronto, a 2-point lead. Now, just over 5 minutes to go. We're tied up at 80. And you see Leonard trying to find a switch, working off onto Ben Simmons, knocking down the jumper there. Toronto with the lead. Now we're tied. 82-80 is the score. Raptors working. Leonard. How smooth is this? There's just no defense for that. Raptors plus a foul. Up 5 after the free throw. Under 2 minutes to go. Tied at 85. It's Kawhi again. Foot on the line. So this is a long 2. Toronto's lead is 2. Sixers with the ball now, trailing by 2. Just under a minute and a half left to play. And you're going to see they just don't know where they want to go with the ball offensively. Terrible offense, leading to easy defense. There's Lowry. Here's Siakam. Raptors by 4. The lead is 2. 10 seconds to go. Kawhi Leonard looking to make it a 3-point game. Oh, but he misses the free throw and stay with the action. Here we go. We're going the other way. Get it to Jimmy Butler. You see the time. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. 5. It's up. It's good. We're tied with 4.2 seconds remaining. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to Kawhi. He's been spectacular all night long. There's one defender. There's 2 defenders. There's Kawhi to the corner. By now, you know what happens. 4 bounces on the rim and in. Keep a close eye. How does that first one do that? It defies the immutable laws of physics. Look at the crowd. Look at the fans in Jurassic Park. So much playoff heartbreak in their history. And this time, Kawhi gets it to go. 18.2 feet is the apex of the jumper over the outstretched fingers of Joel Embiid. And then 4 bounces on the rim before it goes. And keep an eye. This is why sports is the ultimate reality show. Look at the faces. Look at the moments of expectation. Entire legacies hinge on moments like those. The devastation for Joel Embiid. Look as he walks away. Emotional walking off the floor. Emotional walking out of the gym. Kawhi with 41 huge points. The Raptors win.
I just wanted to go out and leave it all on the floor. This could have been my last game for the season. And, you know, I would have had to wait 4 months to put another shot up in the game. So I was going to leave it all out on the floor tonight. You know, try to will us to a win.
Losing a game that way, it sucks. I don't know. I can't explain it. It just sucks.
As painful as it feels now, it'll help him. It'll help shape his career. It'll help give him greater clarity. All the stuff that has to accrue over many months that will equal the ability to one day be a champion. It's hard. It's hard to be the last man standing.
The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat in so many different ways on display, and the cryptic pregnant pause from Kawhi Leonard in the comment that also almost set Twitter on fire. Okay, we have a lot to unpack. Let's start with this. Kawhi Leonard's shot is only the second ever game-winning buzzer beater in a winner-take-all game. This was the only other time it had ever happened. Perhaps you've seen the shot before. It's Jordan over Elo. Those are the only 2. There was that, and then there was yesterday. But that isn't the shot that either of you two, Tibbs and Bruce, thought of this morning. I found Coach Thibodeau outside the building this morning trying to find the elevator. And in the elevator, you mentioned to me you were on the staff when Allen Houston hit that shot. So tell me in the moment when the ball is hanging on the rim what the emotions are like.
Well, the ball got knocked out of bounds prior to the shot, and we're no timeout. So we inbound to Allen, and he made an incredible shot. And you see Marley wax him in the head, And really, our jobs were on the line. So if he misses that shot, who knows where we would be, but Van Gundy and I would probably be flipping burgers somewhere.
But that is the truth of it, is that legacies hinge on that little fraction of an inch. The Sixers, who knows what winds up happening to them now? Leonard, who knows if this would have been the difference between him staying in Toronto or leaving? Who knows? Let me ask you this. As a defensive specialist all your life, did they get anything wrong on the defensive side on that play for Philly?
I mean, of course they did. They did not send Kawhi Leonard to his weak hand. And when you have those situations, you got to understand that it's so important to make sure if he hits a shot, make sure he hits it a different direction. Right here, Tobias Harris shouldn't be right there. You're guarding Marc Gasol. You're faster than him. You're not worried about him getting the ball back. But as soon as we get the inbounds, get on the right-hand side right now, Ben. Get on the right. Oh, he doesn't get in. He's getting. Now watch Ben Simmons. He stops playing. You can't stop him. This is Game 7. Come on, Tibbs. What would you have done to me if I would have done that, Tibbs?
Trade.
Okay, so we've traded Bruce Bowen for a player to be named later. But all kidding aside, they always say the most dangerous man on that play is the guy inbounding the ball. And Gasol is a threat from 3.
No. He's not going to take that shot. They're looking to get the ball to Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
You give it to your go-to guy. 4 seconds, you want something going towards the basket, or you let him create something. So it's not about that situation, him being the most dangerous. Tobias is fast enough to get back to him. So that's one of those situations that he'll look back at and say, man, I wish I would have done something different.
You're a defensive specialist. You have an issue with the way they guarded it?
Well, there's a couple things you could do, as Bruce mentioned. I think the one thing is, with the way Kawhi was playing in that game, he was really the only guy going besides Ibaka, hurt them with second shots. So the inbounder can track Kawhi so he can't catch it. So you jump on the top side, so now you're making him pass the ball to somebody else. I think you saw it earlier when Butler defended the inbounds, and he read where they were trying to go with it, and he took it away.
Well, you see the numbers on your screen. Kawhi Leonard, 41 points, 8 boards, 3 steals, closing out one of the genuinely great, and I'll give you a stat on it in a minute, one of the genuinely great postseason series that any player has ever had. Your thoughts on what we saw from Kawhi?
Well, I like what he started off with. He was aggressive in this series, letting it be known that I can't score the basketball at any given time. But at the same time, he learned that he needed to get his teammates involved. And so in games 3 and 4, that's where he figured that out. Allowing Siakam to now have an impact in the game, allowing Serge Ibaka to have an impact. This is what it's all about when it comes to go-to guys being what they need to be. So Kawhi scored 243 points in this series. The fact that he did that and still got others involved is the most impressive aspect, because it just wasn't about him.
Here's a guy whose season began with everyone making fun of his laugh, and now you want to talk about getting the last laugh, knocking down what will go down as one of the great shots in the history of the sport, certainly the memorable shots in the history of the sport. And I know you love that he does it on both ends of the floor. This guy plays the game the right way.
There's no question. I think, and there were no bullets left in the gun. So 39 shots. But the thing that he did, and they made a major adjustment. They put Kawhi on Jimmy Butler. So he played both sides of the ball. His defense was terrific. His offense was terrific. He made big play after big play. You have to give him a lot of credit.
I'm tired of hearing the term, he's a two-way player. This is not football. It's just basketball. And great basketball players that want to continue to grow, and that's what Kawhi has done. Ever since his first year in the NBA, he's continuously improved. He's not concerned with the fanfare. He's concerned with being the best player he can be.
And let me give you the numbers. He scored 243 points in this series. That is the 3rd most of any playoff round since the merger. And look at the only 2 names in front of him. Were those guys any good? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 77 and Michael Jordan in the 93 finals against Phoenix. So we're going back 26 years to the last time anyone scored more points in a series than Kawhi Leonard just did. We'll get back to all of that in a minute, but now let me get you to the next story. The Lakers have found their head coach. Saturday, Woj reporting LA and Frank Vogel have agreed on a 3-year deal. Woj also reporting Jason Kidd has agreed to join the staff in a prominent assistant coaching role. So, you know the expression, if you can't beat him, join him. LeBron James and the Heat eliminated the Pacers 3 times when Frank Vogel was the head coach in Indy. All 3 of those series went at least 6 games. The 2013 Conference Finals went 7. Here's Brian Windhorst over the weekend with perspective on what this relationship may look like.
It's hard to earn LeBron's respect as a coach. You really need to have it when you walk in the room. And, you know, to do that, you probably have Ned to have been a great player in the league that he respects. or have been really successful as a head coach that has won something where you are instantaneously going to have his respect. Frank Vogel, even though I think he's an effective coach, is not going to have that. So he is going to have a harder time on day one than a coach like Tyronn Lue or Jason Kidd would have had.
All right, so Tibbs, I'm going to start with you because you're the coach here, and you've coached a lot of superstars. You coached Derrick Rose when he was the league MVP. LeBron is obviously something else even greater than that. What about the challenge Vogel has now coaching LeBron James?
Well, I think when you go in, you're the head coach. You have to sell first your plan to ownership and management, and then you also have to sell it to your best players. The best players help sell it to the rest of the team. So when he sits down with LeBron, and LeBron is brilliant. You know, I've had a chance to visit with him, and we tried to get him in Chicago as a free agent. He's got a brilliant basketball mind. He's been through a lot of different things. So that'll be the challenge for everyone. And the way the team is built and, you know, where it goes after free agency will be critical as well.
And I think you have to look at this standpoint of what he has been able to do. He can talk to LeBron as far as, hey, remember in Game 7 when we were doing this? What did you think about that? I think really give LeBron the opportunity to have an impact in what he's thinking because he doesn't have the hardware behind him. So he can't come to LeBron and say, look, we need to do things this way and that way. It'll be very interesting how Frank handles this situation as far as coming into it.
Make sure everyone is aware of the perspective here. So Brucey is a 3-time NBA champ playing with Tim Duncan and for Greg Popovich. So that is as successful a player-coach relationship as there has ever been in basketball. So you've seen that up close and personal, how it works. You've got LeBron here. The perception from the outside is he wanted his guy. He wanted Tyronn Lue. He didn't get him. So how does that complicate this?
Well, it complicates it, but at the same time, LeBron James is still a professional. He understands he has a job to do, and he's going to let the chips fall where they may. You know, you talk about the championship pedigree. You talk about Tim Duncan and Greg Popovich. They did it together, so that one's X. You look at what Pat Riley was able to do in getting LeBron James. The rings on the table. If this is what you want, this is where you need to be. So you look at Frank Vogel now and saying, what is he bringing to the table? He's at a disadvantage in that aspect of things because he doesn't have any of those things. All he has is a Game 7 experience against LeBron where LeBron won. So what happens during the course of a game? He draws up a play and LeBron says, no, that didn't work against us. We're going with this. Then we start talking about, oh boy, there's trouble in the jungle.
I mean, and there's already trouble, right? I mean, it's already been this incredibly awkward period to get there. And then there's the presence of Jason Kidd. That's a good relationship that he has with LeBron. It goes back a long way. But there was also a lot of people who believed that Jason Kidd was going to be the head coach here. So when you've got an assistant and that dynamic exists, is that a complicating factor?
Well, I don't think it is because I think when you create the profile of the coach that you're looking for, which I'm sure the Lakers did, and those were probably some of the parameters they set up before Frank had agreed to the deal. So I think going in, you got to get everyone onto the same page, and then you go forward from there.
Just put it on the table. Is this going to work or not? Are they going to turn this thing around in L.A., or is it going to be what at this point looks like a catastrophe?
I wouldn't say catastrophe, but I don't think it's going to work because both teams, everybody has to be on the same page. And I can just sense a situation like this transpiring as far as he looks over and he sees LeBron talking to J. Kidd as well as some of the other players. What's going on in this is, what are they talking about? Are they going over the game plan? That's always going to be lingering there because of the relationship that J. Kidd has with LeBron James as far as being an Olympic teammate and LeBron trusting Jason Kidd, who's a Hall of Famer and also a champion as well as a gold medalist.
Certain things people have said to me over the years always stick in my head. One of them was Marty Schottenheimer, a great football coach, when he worked at ESPN, said to me, if the players are looking over your shoulder as the coach at any time, you have no chance to succeed. And that's the thing. If he's talking, if Vogel is talking to LeBron or anybody, and that player is kind of looking over his shoulder at somebody else, the coach is done before it even starts, right?
Well, yeah, I agree. And Mike, you mentioned this earlier. LeBron will have questions for Frank about, he knows how he'll be defended. He knows the challenges of the team. And Frank's going to have to sell his plan to him.
Okay. We will have more on this as we go. Stephen A. will weigh in, and Brian Windhorst will join.